Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Been a long time. My name is still Jack Simon, and I am back and better than ever. 4 years later, however long it was, probably like 4, 5, 6 years even later. Um, we're here. Totally different concept. It's very raw and literally sitting in the apartment, in my apartment, talking about Rocket League now. Right? No, like nobody asked for this, and I know the production quality is going to be dog shit. I know it will be because I'm using my laptop. Uh, it's really grainy, as you can tell, but we're just having a good time. I wanted to share my thoughts on these past in this past weekend's RLCS Regional One for NA. As I was watching, I felt compelled to share my thoughts because I had some great ideas personally. So, here we go. So let's jump right in. Jump right in. So, notable results from the Swiss stage. Now, this is the opening stage. Teams qualified for this, and you basically have to get 3 wins and you're in. SSG topped the Swiss stage on match differential, so they only lost. They only dropped 2 games in the opening set. NRG, meanwhile, dropped 4. So that led SSG number 1 seed going into the playoff bracket, which we kind of expected. I expected SSG to be hot off the rip. Um, they had a great start to the season. If you remember last year during RLCSX, they won the first regional, they won the first major. They were a very strong team. I expected them to do the same, and they did. Reddle's typical Arsenal roster that did not change heading into the off season and into this new season of RLCS. They did not change. Same with NRG, common theme. Those rosters stayed the same. Great wins for Envy, or great wins over Envy for SSG, and great win for NRG beating True Neutral. That was the matchup that I looked forward to. Them playing True Neutral, and they came out on top. Took them to 5 games. I think that's a great result for True Neutral, even if they did not play their best and didn't win the series. Excuse me, sir. Guy's fucking engine is still on, ramping it up. Took them to 5 games. I don't know the exact scoreline of that game, but I believe I watched that series. I don't remember what it was though. So, Anyway, XSET, a surprising XSET team. I know what the roster changed. I believe it's J. Powell, Percy, and Hoxer. What a crazy matchup they had, beating Shopify, beating FaZe, being swept by SSG, and then beating the rebranded Torrent, who was originally Alpine. So they move on. They get their 3 wins. They move on. I expect them, really, those matchups against Shopify and against FaZe, I thought they were going to lose. I said, there's no way XSET are able to beat Shopify, but they did. Shopify did not look good at all this Switch stage. I don't know who they even beat. I was watching their team. I was watching the original broadcast. They only beat Integrity Esports, which is, they're a brand new team, and they only managed to beat them 3-1, which it's a good result for them, but they should be getting that result. With losses, Shopify lost to XSET, V1, and Ghost, so kind of iffy there. Okay, notable things from this first stage: FaZe Clan 3-1, Envy 3-1, Version 1 3-2. Just slept in with good wins over Shopify and Rogue and Torrent. Only dropping, they lost 2 series. Both went to Game 5, by the way. They played a lot of Rocket League, Version 1 did. Going 13-7 overall. So they got a lot more wins. Actually, more wins than any other team in this entire bracket, by the way. I guess it's the habit, though. You kind of want less wins because you generally play less games. The more wins you get, the less games you play. So they're one of the 3 teams that had to play all 5 games to get that 3rd win. And they came up with 13 wins and 7 losses. That's the best record here. I wouldn't say best record, but most wins, which is notable. that shows that they can play lots of Rocket League during the day and come up with good results. That was a big issue for NRG last year. You know, issue for NRG is basically nothing because they were the NA champions. But I remember during the winter split when they had to play Rogue twice in a best of 7, in a best of 3, best of 7. I'm saying that backwards, but NRG had to play a lot of Rocket League that day coming from the lower bracket, and they just said they got fatigued. Too much Rocket League, but it seems like version 1, on a much smaller scale, can still play enough Rocket League and still do well. Along with version 1, a G2 and True Neutral are rounding out those teams that did qualify for the playoff stage. So with that top 8, we move into the playoffs on Sunday, Championship Sunday. I was really excited for this because I love the single elimination brackets. I hate double elimination because those games take so long. It's a very long day of Rocket League. But Saturday, this is still Saturday's games. I guess the Swiss stage was Friday, and then this was all Saturday. So the original quarterfinal games are all Saturday, all best of 7s. Let's start with the bottom. The first game of the day, I believe, was V1 XSET. I was really excited for this game. I think V1 made a statement by just being here, because last year I don't think they even made a single, a day 2 at all. I mean, they didn't make the top 8, whatever it was. They might have, but it was very sparingly. They didn't do very well. So I'm glad to see them get back, and I was really hoping they'd get this win over XSET, because XSET, they played really well. They only lost one. They only dropped one series now to SSG, who was top seed. So you can't really put anything by them. Those games going well. Lots of 2 overtimes in that series, but lots of goals on both sides, taking it all the way to Game 7 overtime, where Calm, air dribble bump, and won the series for V1, so they played really well. Played a lot of good Rocket League there. Moving on, the above game, G2 NRG. This was a great game too. Truly a great game. I think one of the most exciting and fast and mechanical games I've ever watched of NA. I don't know, this series really blew me away. I couldn't believe how many overtimes there was too. Literally every single game was an overtime. Every one. I'm looking at it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. It was a 6-game series. They were all overtimes, with NRG winning 4 of them, and obviously GT winning 2 of them. So I mean, that just shows you how incredible these two teams are. I mean, to take NRG, a team like NRG, take overtime every single time, and they went back and forth overtimes. So I was happy to see them come out with a win, NRG, but I think G2 played really well, and I think they'll continue to do well. And I think if the matchup was switched, I think we could have seen G2 in a potential final if they had beaten NRG and gone, and they definitely would have beaten V1 in my opinion, the way they played. Moving up, FaZe Clan Envy. Envy playing another whole set of Rocket League all the way to Game 7, but beating Team Envy in a Game 7 overtime, I believe. Or was it just Game 7? No, just Game 7, no overtime, 3-2. Beat them in Game 7 Champions Field. This was a surprising result. I think FaZe Clan's a great team with the pickup of First Killer. The way he plays is good, but I think with the establishment and the skill and the foundation that Team Envy have, they should not be dropping that game. But they did. The fashion that they did, I did not think that was the full term of a Team Envy's ability. I think they have much more to give. But yeah, congrats to FaZe Clan. Great win. But again, they're playing lots of Rocket League, which at the start of the season might not be a bad thing, but they have to start winning these games convincingly, because that's going to take a toll on you come down to elimination. When you're playing, 2 games of best of 7s a day, and you're going to Game 7, you're playing lots of Rocket League. It's grueling, Even though it's just Rocket League, you're still playing a lot of it, and it's taxing on the brain. Moving on to the number 1 seed, SSG playing True Neutral, the last seed, and this series was tough because the 4-0 for SSG is misleading in my opinion. I mean, I said this before, you don't necessarily win a best of 7 on accident. Like, you don't sweep a team on accident, and I feel like, obviously SSG won that series pretty convincingly, but I believe 3 of SSG wins came from overtime. Yeah. Games 2, 3, and 4 all from overtimes and deep overtimes over a minute. So, one mistake goes SSG's way and they score and that's a game, And if you're true neutral, you understand what it takes now to be a part of this NA team. You made it to day 2, which is great. I think that's a great result for them, and I think they'll take that. They'll be pretty proud of themselves, but I think going forward, they'll look to do better. And to be fair, they got a pretty unlucky matchup with SSG, which, to be fair, they qualified for that spot, but still, I think they could have gone either way. So, moving on to Championship Sunday, the semifinal bracket. The first matchup was NRG V1, and I thought if V1 win this game, I don't know what's the deal. You have Torment, Gimmick, Calm against Squishy, Garrett G, and Justin. That's just, all these guys are good friends, I'm sure. And then playing that game was really fun to watch, but again, just dominance of NRG. I think V1 took like game 3 or something. Yeah, they took game 3 in a 3-minute overtime, winning 3-2. But really, I think NRG had a pretty solid grip at this game. Any game that didn't go overtime, like game 1, 4-1, game 4, and then game 5 were all 4-2, 3-2. So a convincing win for NRG. They move on to our grand finals, which I kind of expected. I think NRG doesn't make the semis. In a given, it's a bad result for them. I think they should be making the semis, if not the grand finals, every time they play. So, again, good result for them. I knew they were going to win that game because that's just V1 has no experience playing at that high of a level in a semifinal stage, I don't believe. So, but for V1, in summary, in conclusion, I think that's a great result for them to get to a day 3 on their first trip to the regional. Start off the series, that's a great result. They're already above Shopify, Xset, Sonics even had a good run in the Swiss. So, they're already above teams that they should be above, and I think they'll hopefully continue to do well because I really like that team. I think they have great potential. So, I look forward to seeing more of them as we move on in this regional and in these regionals. So moving on to our next semifinal, SSG FaZe. This one I really wanted FaZe to win because I'm not a big SSG fan, but I thought SSG would bring it home just because of their experience here, and their roster is more solid, and I think more consistent than FaZe's roster. But FaZe on the day just were a better team. They took them to Game 7, and FaZe won. Another 7 for FaZe. So again, playing lots of Rocket League. Only 2 overtimes in that entire game, so not a whole lot of extra time played. That's a big factor. You want to play another 5-minute game on top of a game, in overtime. So got the job done, winning game 1, winning game 3, and then losing 2, and then winning games 6 and 7. So great result for FaZe. SSG, I think you're disappointed there to play top seed and then lose in the manner that you did to FaZe Clan. I think that's not the total picture of SSG. I think they definitely have the capacity to win many regionals to come. But I do think that I just don't know if that team, with Reddles on that team, they play well, but I don't know, they really should be beating FaZe, in my opinion, playing the manner that they did on the first day. Moving on then to our grand final, FaZe NRG. Now, this one's a big talking point, and I'm excited to talk about this because of the format of it. So it's a best of 7, best of 7, best of 3. So you have to win 2 best of 7s to win the whole thing. There's no double elimination, no bracket reset. It's simply you have to win 2 best of 7s, which is a lot of Rocket League. I believe this series started at 2 o'clock, and it didn't really go over until much later than that. So I think it's probably close to a 3-hour series. I would say close to 3 hours of Rocket League. you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 overtimes over the course of 14 games. Excuse me. How many games is that? 5, 10, 16 games. They played 16 games altogether. Ultimately, FaZe Clan winning the first series 4-1. NRG coming back, bouncing back after some controversy and some beef. NRG winning the next series 4-1 as well, moving into the final best of 7. FaZe clutches it out, winning 4 games to 2, and they take home Regional 1, 30 grand. Goes to the FaZe Clan organization, and goodness gracious, they played well. They played really well. You know, some games were oddities. Let's take a look at the leaderboard here. The first game, really, it was all wrapped up nice and clean from FaZe Clan. NRG won one game, and it was in a 1-minute overtime. The rest of those games were dominated by FaZe Clan. A 1-0, a 2-1, a 3-2, and a 5-0 in the final for the first series. The second one definitely went NRG's way. They had a renewed passion. They knew what they had to do, and you know, you never bet against NRG, really. They're just a much more solid team than FaZe Clan. But it's kind of hard to say that now. You know, when you go into a best of set, like the chat vote on the Twitch channel was all in favor of NRG. Even though they had just lost the first series, you know, it's hard to bet against them. Even I was like, you know, NRG has been in this exact same situation before. They'll come back and they'll win this because that's what they do. But no, it was just surprising. AJ, First Killer, and Illusion had a great run in this last series, winning 4-2. Great wins, just very convincing, and just strong play up to the last minute of this game. They played really well, lots of action on both sides, and FaZe Clan take it. So I'm happy to see where FaZe Clan goes from now. I think they can win a lot more in futures to come, but they need to keep playing consistently, and then we'll see that as we go. You know, there's not enough evidence now to say, hey, this team is top 2 NA, is top 1 NA, because right now statistically they are with most points, but I need to see consistency before I give a true evaluation of their skill. I think they definitely have potential to be the best team in NA, and I believe that. I think a player like First Killer doesn't come off very often, especially him being so young still. That roster is very young. I don't know how old Illusion is, but I think he's older. But you know, every Rocket League player is pretty young, so we'll see. I think this Rocket League team has a chance to be very good. NRG, I think, is always going to be good no matter who's on their team. That's just who they are. I think Garrett G is still the best player in the world. Close second to be First Killer, and I'd put Mist up there as well. So we'll see where this goes. I'm excited to watch more of this. I'll probably do one of these for EU as well. I think EU is next weekend. I'll be back making a video just like this, probably on that next Monday night, talking about Europe. So thank you guys for watching. If you're watching, more importantly. And I'll see you guys next time. Adios. Bye.